Welcome back to 8 Metal Strings. I have a quick video for you guys today to show you one of my processes for figuring out songs and practicing them to get them up to speed. I have been busy working on a lot of tunes lately and teaching some lessons, and I've been finding this is one of those essential tools in my workflow right now, so I wanted to share it with you. What you'll need in order to do this today is a DAW. It can be any DAW that you have. It could be Reaper, Ableton, Logic, Pro Tools. The details will be different depending on what DAW you have. I'm going to show you what happens through Ableton. Hopefully though you'll have enough knowledge, basic knowledge of your DAW that you can go back and figure it out yourself if you're not using Ableton like I am. The other thing you're going to need is some knowledge or ability to reroute your computer's audio. Now this doesn't work with every hardware and every software that you might have, so hopefully you'll find a way to do this, but just be warned, this might not be possible for everybody. So what I have here first is my digital console that is associated with my Universal Audio Apollo Twin sound card that I use. And that is what I use to record my microphone audio as well as my guitar audio. So in the console, we can access the settings by hitting Command comma or through the menus here. And that will pull up this box here. Now what we are trying to do is we're trying to reroute our output audio back into some unused channels. So right now I have kind of my inputs, my physical inputs using inputs 1 and 2 on my sound card. And then the output is monitor left and right over here. Now I'm then going to take that output and reroute it to some unused channels. And in this case, I'm using channel 3 and channel 4. Okay, so the output is now an input on channel 3 and 4, which means anytime I play audio from my computer, it will then kind of be rerouted to the computer, and there won't be any feedback issues because it's not going back to channel 1 and 2, going back to the output, it's going to some unused channels, so that is important. Once you have your output somehow coming back to your input so your computer can hear itself, then we can open up a DAW. So I'm going to open up Ableton here. And I have just a basic audio track created, just kind of your standard setup. And all I'm going to do is change the input of my audio track to channel 3 and 4. So now it will be listening to the output of the computer that we have rerouted back into channel 3 and 4. So I'll give you a sample here. I'm just going to play a bit of this track that I was transcribing for one of my students called Cloud Cascade by Invent Animate. And we can see audio coming in on the channel here. So that is all set up, that is all good. So what do we actually do with this? Well, first thing I'm going to do is record the song into my DAW so that I can then manipulate it in my practicing. So there's an optional step here before we do that, and that is to find the tempo of the song and set your kind of set to that tempo. So I know already that this song is at 115 beats per minute, so I'm just going to put that in here. This isn't essential to do, it just is kind of a quality of life thing for later. Once we're ready to go, we can arm the track to record, begin recording, and play the song. We're just going to let the song play all the way through because it has to record it in real time. And while that happens, you can get up, go have a coffee, go make a tea, whatever, just you can, kill that time however you want. But the point is we have the complete song recorded into our DAW by the end of it. So here we go. We're going to sit and do that now. Record and play. And there is the whole song that we were recording in our DAW for us to mess around with. So I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup steps and kind of cut up the beginning of the tail a bit and line it up so that we have it starting on the beat, because we set up the tempo to actually kind of align with the song. So we might as well get it aligned with the measures. Cool. So what can we do with this now that we have it recorded? Well, what I usually will do is use it to practice a song or to transcribe a song that is kind of moving too fast and I need a little more time to hear what is going on. So what we can do, at least in Ableton, is we can slow the song down fairly easily. So I have the track or clip selection kind of up at the bottom here, and all we have to do is change the warp parameters a little bit. So rather than beats, we're going to go to Complex Pro, just because that algorithm sounds a little bit better when dealing with a full audio track. Beats is more for like a drum beat that you want to speed up or slow down, as it preserves transients a bit better. But because we have a full complete track, we want to try to preserve everything. So Complex Pro is what I use. And then from there, all we have to do is change the BPM. We have to make sure that this warp button is turned on so that the track audio will adjust with the tempo changes. Otherwise, the track will be unaffected. So we want that to be on. And then once we have that, we can just simply click and drag the tempo at the top to the tempo that we want to listen or play at. So I'm going to drag it down to 90 just for ease of demonstration. And we can listen to this, see how it sounds. Compare that to our original tempo. So there we go. We now have kind of freedom to manipulate the audio however we want to. You can also cut up the audio if you're just trying to work on a specific spot. You can make a little looped section just so that it will repeat one little area that you might be working on. The possibilities are endless for what you do at this point. I simply use it to transcribe and practice in my daily workflow. One last little tip I have is that you may have noticed that the audio quality is a bit degraded from this whole process. So what you might want to do is throw a little equalizer on there, and I'll just use the built-in equalizer here to hopefully kind of like attenuate some of those harsher frequencies that arise when we slow down the song. So we can listen to this. I'm just going to put a little low pass filter on to hopefully cut some of that harshness off. So a little bit gentler on the ears, even though it's not a huge change. When you're working on these things for a long time, every little bit like that to save your sanity and save your ears will help. So there you go, just a little quick tip on how to use a DAW to take any track from any source of audio on your computer, record it, and be able to manipulate it for your own practice session needs. I will be back soon with more 8-string specific content for you guys. It's just taking a little bit to work on some new stuff for you. But in the meantime, if you like what I'm doing and want to see a little bit more content, you can hop over to my Patreon and join me there as we do kind of new riffs every week. We have different discussion boards, and we just get some extra guitar profiles and stuff like that whenever I do put out a video. So with all that said, I hope you have a great rest of your week wherever you are, and as always, happy practicing.